Class, today is week 4? Week 4, day 2. We're going more into React. What? I don't know what to say. Should we just cancel class?
I think we can transfer the classroom over there.
Fuck.
Wait, can we still hear that dude though?
We have one loud.
I think I am concerned that he's gonna be there for a while.
I sit in the coffee shop and then figure it out too. Yeah. Coffee on that wall.
Let's just try to man up, okay? I think we can do this. I'm gonna talk really loud, okay? All right, so let's first review. Remember, before, when we wanted to update our DOM, we had to write some JavaScript and say, hey, make my HTML look like this, make it look like that. But in React, we're just using JavaScript to just know how to draw it, okay? You should just know how to draw it, depending on the state of the application. Why do we want to do this? These slides are a little off. Remember yesterday we talked about components, okay? Components are just like little collections of data and functionality. That's how you gotta think about it as. Like an engine. Every single component in the engine matters. If your web page doesn't have a sign-in form, how can the user sign in? How can they update their profile photo? If we don't have a navigation bar, how can they move around? Very simple concepts. JSX is just like HTML. It's nested. It's got attributes. Attributes have values. Okay? There are many different types of attributes. An endless list. What are some of the ones that we used yesterday, guys? Class name. Thank you. Another two I want to hear. Style. Okay, one more. Huh? That's the difference. Okay, but there's one more very important one that we got to know, that memorize. When we click something, we want to, that's another important one. Okay, the last concept, or not the last, the next concept is props, okay? Props are like arguments to our function, okay? They're just exactly like arguments to our function. Depending on the props that come in, our components will behave differently. Very simple. Okay, and lastly, render. Every single class-based component has to have a render function. And specifically, this is not a normal function, this is called a method because it's attached to a class. A method resides within a class. Just for those of you who want to learn new dictionary terms, okay? Remember how I told you there are many different types of functions, okay? These all work together. The next thing we're going to talk about is state. Some of you guys were curious, you finished early. I tried to give you a quick walkthrough because this is so fundamental to React that I want you guys to have as much practice as possible. Okay, so why do we call it React again? It reacts to the state, okay? It reacts to the state, okay? Just think about that. I'm gonna show you a very simple case of this in just a second, okay? It reacts to the state. Our application has state, and state can manifest itself in many different ways, right? So for example, Loy's gay. Example of Loy's gay. What are some of the states that Loy has? Loy no longer talks to girls. Loy likes talking to guys. Loy wears funky clothing, right? I don't know how the state is gonna manipulate itself, but the state will drive behavior. Okay, that's the important concept. It will drive behavior in our applications. So, React is named React because it simply reacts to the state. All of our applications so far have had state, but you guys just didn't think of it that way. I want you guys to start thinking about your application state. For example, in the Twitter app, the number could go up. The original state was 0 or something, or 1, or however much it is. You click it, the state should update, right? A click means that, there's a new user in the world that likes this tweet. So the state of this tweet should go up by 1. Pretty simple. The differences between these two are imperative programming plus declarative programming. So if you guys want to read a the difference between these two we're going to show you right now, between document.getElementById.innerHTML equals blah, 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 that's imperative. And what we want to get towards is declarative, okay? And I know that seems like no one here knows the difference. I'm not even sure if I know the difference, but actually I do because I already looked at the next slide, okay? So here's a metaphor between declarative versus imperative programming. Declarative is saying, hey, be romantic. Okay, if you want someone to be romantic, they should send you red roses. Okay, they shouldn't send you yellow roses. Okay, whatever the imperative. So like declarative saying just be romantic, and the person should figure out what they should do. Okay, they should just know what to do. Imperative is literally telling them what exactly it is you want them to do. I want you to go and buy me flowers. I want you to hold my hand. I want you to pay attention to me. I want you to text me, say you love me. Okay, shit like that. We don't want to have to tell a lover that, right? We want them to be declarative. They should just know based on a certain set of criteria. Okay?
Declarative is this. Okay.
This is where we want to get to. And you guys are not going to understand these design patterns, so I don't expect you guys to understand them yet, right? The differences, but with time you will, okay? With time. Okay, so remember, if romance is true, which is a piece of state, right? Then the heartbeat should be 100 and the color should be red. And that's how we're going to express these ideas in code. Okay, if romance is true, something like that, some abstract concept. Obviously, we need to have a way to change our state. State is almost useless if you cannot change it, update it somehow. And we did this yesterday. Does anyone remember the function, the magical function? Yes. Set state is automatically attached to our this. What is this? This is the component. And this is going to be super advanced levels of ES6. You guys will come understand it more with time. React reacts to state changes. Okay, that's all we got to understand. When our state changes, our components will understand. We'll never ever have to tell something on our screen to do something again. Okay?
So only React can do this as a framework, or Angular can do that too?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I think Angular probably can, but Angular is they're kind of different tool. So Angular, they all are like almost all programming frameworks are trying to go towards the same goal, right? They're trying to get to the same goal, but they just take many different ways to do it, right? So Angular, I would imagine that does do this. I've only studied Angular for like 2 weeks. And that's like 4 years ago or something. I don't really know it specifically well. But I know Angular tries to combine building APIs with building UIs, okay? Building APIs.
Well, what are we doing with React? Are we not building UI?
No, Angular tries to combine building APIs as well as building building UIs. API, UI. React focuses on just building UIs.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But where can we build an API that is non-React? Is it in JavaScript?
You can, yeah. There's Node.js. There's many different ways. Express.js, Meteor.js, not Meteor. Express and Node.js can build APIs. But don't worry about that. We're building APIs in the second half of this class, okay, guys? Right now, we got to show the user what they want, okay? We got to show them before they can even ask for any data. Remember what an API is, guys? We use one, get news. It's just some URL on the internet. We click a button, and we get some data. And then we got to parse that data. And then that data we use and we stick it on the screen somehow. We don't just stick it on there. We got to put it inside of H1 or something, right? Or in a paragraph or a div or something like that, okay? The data needs to be formatted. It needs to be parsed. It needs to be presentable. Okay, so just basically the mechanism for setting state is actually very, very complicated, right? There's a whole bunch of black magic going on in there. You guys don't need to know it all right now. The only thing that you need to know is that when you update your state, your component will render again. And it will render based on the state. Okay? State will almost behave like an argument to a function. Depending on the state, the component will behave differently. There's a lot of other stuff going on in there, okay? There's many different types of updates. You guys, for the rest of this class, to be honest with you, I don't even think you need, the only one other function you may need to know is component did mount, okay? Don't worry, I'll show you guys that one later. But right now, you don't even need to know any of the other ones or any of the other life cycles. Okay, so you're almost always gonna be changing your state based on three things, okay? A user clicks, a submission of a form, or a data fetch, okay? A fetch can be getting data, or putting data out there, okay? Sometimes we need to put data out there. If I'm on Facebook, I enter a comment, I'm telling Facebook that, hey, take this data. This is the comment that I want you to remember. And I want you to take this data and give it to everyone else, okay? That's the basic cycle. I'm on my computer, I enter a comment, I hit enter, we make an API request, the API request hits Facebook, Facebook broadcasts that request back to everyone else. Okay, so do you have any questions? Okay, so I'm going to show you that what we're going to build today, okay? Well, we're going to build, I want you guys to build this morning. I think this is a super easy lab. And I'm trying to break it up into smaller labs for you guys, okay? This is a super, super duper easy lab, okay? So we have a game. I'm calling it Ruby Tree Metal. Does anyone know what color a ruby is? Okay, I agree, Sean. 1 point to Gryffindor. Okay, so we got a tree. We also got a tree. What colors are trees?
I don't know, green.
Green, I think, or brown. 1 point to Slytherin. Okay, and lastly, we got metal. What color is metal? Gray, metallic, something like that. I don't know. It's not important. Okay, and I got 3 buttons here. Very simple. When I click Ruby, I want the application to update its state. Okay, I want it to understand that, oh, I chose Ruby. And I want it to tell me so that I know that it took my feedback, okay? So when I click Ruby, I expect that this should turn red. That is my objective. Also, I want to see a prompt here that tells me so I can read it, okay? This is pretend I can read. This is pretend Lloyd knows how to read. I want to see Ruby. I also want to see the image. I also want to see the count increase, okay? So we're updating 4 pieces of UI based on 1 piece of state. So when I click Ruby, I do in fact see the state change. Right? The state of my application has changed because I clicked something. When I click Ruby, doesn't that mean I want Ruby? Right? If I click tree, doesn't that mean I want tree? Obviously, this could be anything else. What else could this be? It could be rock, paper, scissors. It could be adult films. Dramatic films, comedy films, it could be anything, okay guys? This is a very simple, like it does not get simpler than this, okay? Metal, that's simple. And I want you guys to visually show me. Show me, don't show, I'm sorry I say that to me a lot. What I'm trying to say is when I say show me, what I want you guys to know is show yourselves, man. I've said that so many times, but I mean it again. You guys gotta show yourselves this stuff. And this is the habit of what we do as developers. We gotta help show ourselves so that we know how to show the users, okay? So here's the code. It's like 34 lines. I don't know, a little bit of styling, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a quick, you know what, forget about it. Let's just go ahead and build it again from scratch, okay? So, I'm gonna move to where? Where am I, guys?
What's the purpose of this website or app?
My app, this one right here?
Yeah.
To explain to you what state is.
Oh,
Where, okay, so where am I at, guys? Am I on any folder? Am I in any folder? No, I'm in a folder I want to keep my work in. You guys gotta have a mental image of your workplace, okay? Every single, if you're an electrician and you walk into, if you're a mechanic and you walk into your garage and you don't know where all your wrenches are, you should probably go get another job, okay? You need to know where all your wrenches and your screwdrivers and everything is, okay? So I'm gonna run my special command, npx create react app. I'm gonna call this R for React because I have many projects. So I gotta remember. I'm calling this one rock, Ruby, tree, metal. Okay, I'm creating a new project, guys. It's just creating a couple folders, a bunch of folders, a bunch of files I need by default. Ruby, tree, metal. Fuck, I'm afraid I can't do that. Okay, Ruby, tree, metal. Come on, baby.
Is there a reason why?
It's saying that I can't use capital letters. Do not use capital letters in your names.
Why?
I don't know. There's certain rules. I guess it's because that shares the file names. Remember how you had that problem yesterday with spaces? Remember that? So maybe like there's certain, like somewhere, if you give it a capital letter, something will fuck up and they're just like, all right, just don't let anyone do capital letters. Oh, okay guys, so I made the folder, guys. What do you guys expect to see here? If I look at my file system, I'm gonna see a folder called Ruby Tree Metal. Okay, very simple. I'm gonna confirm this by looking at my finder. Where am I keeping everything, guys? I forgot. Oh, Captain, right? Where the hell did I do this? Can I not read right now? Why can't I see El Captain anyway?
Fifth column, second row.
Okay, it is. Thank you. Okay, so I do in fact have a folder called R Ruby Tree Metal. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into it. Now, you guys notice that. What do I have here now? Git master. Okay, when I ran this command, it already initialized the app with Git for me. I don't have to run Git init anymore. Okay, so that's the advantage of using these CLI command lines. Command line interface tools. It sets up the project for you. Okay, I don't want to have to do this all by manual. I don't want to create all these folders. Blah blah blah. Okay, so now I'm just gonna run npm start. Let's make sure our project is working. Refresh. And we see our free code. This is the boilerplate code. Okay, so now we're going to do what? I'm gonna open my code editor. Right, we're about to write code. So we need to set up our code, okay? So now let's go to app.js. I want to start very simple, okay? I want to make sure that everything's just working correctly. So I'm going to delete everything in here other than H1. I'm going to say, yeah, thank you for reminding me. I'm going to say Ruby, tree, metal. Save it. Jump back over to our thingy, our browser, refresh. Do we see Ruby Tree Metal? Yes, we do. I promise you this is the code that we're writing, okay? So what was the objective here, okay? We need to figure out how to click a button and change the state of our application, okay? So I told you guys already that there are many different types of components, okay? There are many, many different types of components.
Wait, is there, I have a brain fog right now, but is there like an example of an app that kind of changes state and stuff?
I'm about to show you right now. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is it, like literally trying to show you what this app is going to do. So this is the simplest it's going to get. I want you guys to just, even though I just did this, I made a mistake because I want to create a class-based component to have state. There's just, right now there's two different types of components. Really there are many others that you guys got to memorize one day. But right now just know that there are functional and there are class-based components, okay? Class-based components have state. So I'm just going to delete everything. I'm typing RCC, and it's going to set up all this right here for me, okay? RCC, I hit enter. For those of you who do not have this plugin, look at your extensions and type in React snippets, okay? React snippets, this is this one right here, ES7, or simple React snippets. If you do that, it just set up the boilerplate code for you, okay? So now I'm going to type in H1 and replace it. Ruby, tree, metal. Save, refresh. Okay, it kind of works. What did I forget? The basic class name right here, okay? And then we also need to import these styles. There we go. Save it. That should be in the center. Okay.
Is it called ES7 React?
I have both of them installed. So I have this one and simple React snippets. Just install them and then try running an RCC in the JS file and you should see it.
What is RCC and RCE? What's the difference?
So it's just an abbreviation. RCC is React Create Component. Someone chose to name it this, and it makes sense to me. React Create Component.
RCE, I saw RCE too. What is
RCE.
Yeah, what's that?
So there's additional just set up for us right here. So there's a new concept called pop types that we need to explore. But right now we don't need to worry about pop types right now, okay? Come on, let's just focus on state, okay? Let's stay focused on state. I'm telling you, we're gonna see how state works in just a moment.
Why did it think, so when you added in class name, why did that thing center itself? You didn't center anything.
Because it already had the styles. It already had the styles right here. I'm gonna do this. I'm going to add a little bit of styles on this one because I need to show you guys. I need you guys to be able to understand this. And I'm gonna write styles here in just a second. So what do we have right here, guys? We have Ruby, okay? BG color is what? Red, right? What else do we have? We have tree. Background color is what? Green. Okay. And what else do we have? Metal. Come on. BG color is silver. Okay. So okay. So now, what was the requirement, guys? We have.
Order that changes things?
Yes, but how do we know that when the user is going to change the colors? A click, right? So we need to have a button. Okay? How can we register a click from a button? We need to add an attribute on click. Okay? And And remember, the syntax is a little bit different than React and HTML. Okay, this on click needs to be camel case, and all attributes are going to be camel case. If you guys write not all attributes, all properties are going to be camel case. I think if you guys find one that isn't, that means that person did not follow the recommended procedure. Okay, so what goes into an on click?
Button.
What's the value? It's a function, right? Every single time we've attached a on click to a function so far, haven't we just been writing or to a button? Haven't we just been writing click or functions? Do you remember? Like get Americans or like or why can't I think right now? Add tweet, exactly. Okay. All right. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prove that this bad boy can fire. Okay. We do a console.log test. Okay. So I'm gonna refresh the page. Oops, we need to stick something in here. Okay. We're gonna say test. Whatever. Okay. We click it, and we prove that this function is firing every single time I clicked it. Okay. So what's the next step? I'm gonna change it to Ruby. If I click it, I want to see the state become Ruby. Okay, how can I prove what the state is? I'm just gonna console log this.state. Save it, refresh it. So state is always null. So how can we fix this? We need to give our app some default state, okay? So we're gonna say, hey, state is equal to an object. Refresh it, we click it. Now what do we have here for state? An object, okay? So that's not actually that useful. What can we do here? How can I update state? How can I give my state a new key on line 14? Yes. We call this .setState a magical function, right? And then what is inside of the argument called to this .setState? What is this right here? Yes, what do objects have? Okay, so what's the key that we want to change? Choice. I'm gonna call it choice, okay? Because a Ruby, a tree, or a metal is a choice. Okay? And this one we're gonna say it's gonna be Ruby. Okay? So when the user clicks this button, it's gonna be Ruby. Does that make sense? And I'm gonna prove to you that this works, because I'm gonna click it. The first time we load this, the state is what? It's just an object. If I click this button, now we have a key in our state, a choice key. It's very simple. All we had to do is call this .setState. Right here. Right? Okay, so now the first thing I want you guys to do is prompt the user. Okay? Prompt the user. So what do I mean? I'm gonna throw in H1 or H3. I'm just gonna show them what they chose. This.state.choice. Very simple. Okay? I save it, I refresh, I click this, I guarantee you we see something up here. And we do in fact see that when the user clicked Ruby and they were trying to update the state of the application, our application did in fact update its state, right? The prompt changed, right? Let's think about this one again, okay? Right now, what is our state? It's just an object, right? It's just an object. It has no key, it has no value here. The H3 is empty. There's nothing there. Thus, nothing renders here. When I click the button, what do? On line 15, we update the state. Very simple. We call this .setState. We pass in an object. The object has a key that we want to update. The value is the value that we want to update. Okay? When that happens, the component fires the render function again on line 19. This time, the state has been updated. And that's why after the state has been updated, when we see this .state log the second time, we're going to see a value there inside of here. And what's the key going to be called, guys? So watch. Let's think about this. Is our expectation met? I think it has been, okay? So now, let's go ahead and work on a little bit more of our UI, okay? So let's go ahead and say, all right, I know what the state is, but I want to have something else done. So we're just going to add some string concatenation, okay? And I'm going to say this.state.choice, okay? That's going to stick a string in here whenever the user updates. So I update it, I click it. Now we have red, okay? So hold on, where's my, why can I? Watch what happens to Ruby right here, okay? It's undefined right now, right? But what happens when I click Ruby in code? What happens when we click Ruby, guys? When we click Ruby on line 14, our state is updated. Our state updates. The value of choice becomes Ruby, right? We have it right here. It's code. We're reading it right here. When we do that, the next time our component renders, okay, line 11, this.state.choice will evaluate to become Ruby, right? It will become Ruby. Thus, when it becomes Ruby, what style do we get that we just wrote a second ago? Become red, right there, okay? So watch this undefined right here. Look at that very carefully as I click this button. So because it was the state of our application has changed, we applied a new class to our app, to our component. When this new class was applied, our component updated. Not updated, but was styled differently. It behaved differently. Okay, so how easy is it to do others? I'm just gonna copy these lines. And guess what? I'm gonna change these. Tree, metal. I'm gonna save it, I'm gonna refresh it. Ruby, tree, metal. Okay? All right, so we need to do two more things, okay? What was the difference between what we had earlier? We had images, remember? We had images, okay? So we're going to, I'm just going to copy and paste these images over. I don't want to Google this right now. What did I call it earlier? I forgot. Called it box. Questions, anyone? Any questions? No? Okay, so I'm copying these images over because I didn't want to Google in front of you. It's going to be boring watching me Google. Guys, so there are many different ways to look at the keys and the values of objects, okay? But normally I want you guys to do this one. I want you to do dot something, okay? Dot Ruby, for example. Dot Ruby. I have choices. What is this right here? What is choices right here, guys? What kind of variable? Yeah, but tell me more. What type? What is type of choices going to give me? Object, right? So how many keys do I have? Choices, dot keys. Can I do this? Can I count? There's a way to do this. I'm gonna look at how many keys I have. Whatever. Just know that choices are three options. Okay. We have what? Ruby. We have metal. We have tree. Okay. So normally when we're dealing with objects, we just want to call dot something. Choices dot Ruby, for example. And I get the string that I want, right? But imagine that dot Ruby is a value that can change programmatically. Okay. Imagine that it is a variable. Well, how else could we do this? Okay. I could say const food equals bar, right? So now I can also do choices, and I can just stick the foo in there, right? So that's just a different way of calling a key on an object. I want you to think of it that way. It's a different way of calling a key on an object. But what is foo? It's looking for a key called bar. Does my choices object have a key called bar? What do I have here? Ruby tree metal. It does not have a key called bar, but it does in fact have a key called Ruby. And it does in fact have a key called tree. And it does in fact have a key called metal. Okay? So now, how is this useful in our application? I'm just going to do...
Real quick, let's scroll up a little bit. So, choices is an object. There's no Ruby, tree, and metal. There's no syntax around those. There's no like...
No, there's no need. This is a JavaScript object. This is not a JSON object. This is a JavaScript object. It's not a JSON object. Okay? So the important thing to know about the brackets here is just know that sometimes we need to call our keys based on a variable. That's what I'm trying to demonstrate right now. And I'm about to show this right now. So imagine that our image can change. Okay? So what goes inside of here based on this state? Choices and I simply stick in this dot state dot choice. Very simple. Okay, I just save it. I jump back over here to our browser. If I click it now, I can see that an image appears. It correctly looks at the image based on the state. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more thing. Okay, I'm gonna make sure this is a little bit easier to read. See, height is 200 pixels. Width is 200 pixels. Okay, save it, refresh. Okay, so notice how the first time the app loads, the image is null because what is our default state? Yeah, so we can't find the image, right? But when I click Ruby, our state updates to what? To Ruby, right? So when our state updates to Ruby, right here on line 20, what does the source evaluate to become? This thing right here, this dot state dot choice, is going to change constantly. Okay, state is for things that are changing. When it changes, right, it's inside of brackets, and these brackets are attached to an object. So basically, we're just calling dot Ruby, dot tree, dot metal. Every single time we update our state, that's what's going to occur. Okay, on line 20. So just watch the behavior. I'm gonna click Ruby, and it does in fact change. So let's go ahead and look at our source again. Okay, let's look at our right here. Look at the source of the image as I change it. It changes. It's reacting to the state of our application. Okay? Make sense, everyone? Okay, so the next step is we want to update counts, right? We want to have a count. So I'm just going to call it H1. We'll say this count. I'm going to say this dot state dot count. When we update our state, we can update as many keys as we want. Okay? So every single time this is clicked, I'm just going to say, hey, in addition to updating choice, I want to update count. And I'm going to say the count is going to increase by 1. Okay? So I'm going to say this dot state dot count plus 1. Okay, I'm going to copy this line.
Wait, sorry, I'm retarded. Why do we need to add count 1?
Because I'm showing you that we're going to have many pieces of state all working together to update our UI. We're going to show you this, okay? We're going to need to update many pieces of state at the same time. This is how it's pretty much always going to be, okay? So I save it, I refresh. When I click this, we're going to see an error. Watch. Why do we see an error? Because we have not set a default state yet. Our initial state for number is null. So then we try to take null and add 1. Okay, so what's null plus 1? Null plus 1. Whoa. Undefined plus 1, my bad. It's undefined and we do plus 1, okay, my bad. The first time it runs, it's undefined, okay? So the solution here is that we need to give our count a default state. So where this magical lines 12, 13, 14, where we set our default state, we simply say our default state for count is equal to 0. So if I refresh the application, I look at count, I see 0. If I click Ruby, it should kick up by 1. Does it kick up by 1? If I click it again, does it go by 1 again? 2, 3. Okay? So we implemented this in about 30 lines of code. I guess 40 if you want to count the style as well. All right, so I'm trying to break this up into small lectures. I want you guys to build this right now. Okay? Have any questions?